What is going on, guys? Karma Him here. I know this is a very different video than what I usually make. This is a gaming channel, and really, the main reason why I haven't been on YouTube in so long is, well, I just do not have the time for gaming anymore. I want to get back to it. I just really don't know when that's going to be, but it's also because of my personal life. Um, Things like they haven't been rainbows and ponies, and it's been like that for a while. Um, it could be worse. It could be better, but I'm alive, right? Anyways, I've been a big Spurs fan since the Tim Duncan era. I got to see everybody: Tim Duncan, Kawhi Leonard, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker. I've also been in love with the sport. I've been in love with it since fifth grade, sixth grade. I know a lot about the sport, and I know a lot about how the Spurs organization really works. They're about selfless players, right? Passing up the good looks for better looks. Players that have nothing to prove or everything to prove. People that came late in the second round, like Manu Ginobili, Patty Mills, and they all became these great contributors to winning the championship. But anyways, we're gonna be talking about this article right here. So Trae Young is supposedly open to the idea of being traded to the Spurs for a Victor Wembanyama team up. So I'm not actually gonna go through this article. It's really just about the rumor. I mean, you could read it if you want to, but um, so what do I think about Trae Young? So obviously he's your generational talent of a point guard. He's not the best finisher like Steph Curry, Kyrie Irving, John Morant when it comes to the rim. Trae Young is probably going to get there and flop, if I'm going to be honest. He'll find a way to get his points. Um, he's not this great defender. He is a bad defender, probably one of the worst defenders in the league. And obviously he's not going to contribute to the Spurs with that. We are last in everything: offense, defense. We have bad turnovers. We average a lot of turnovers actually. Trae Young averages a lot of turnovers, so he's not going to help with that either. But he will shine everywhere else. He has a good free throw percentage. Same thing with the field and 3-point. He can shoot pretty much just about anywhere, which is very great, honestly. Um, he's also this great facilitator. We need somebody like that for Victor Wembanyama. His team is just failing to find him. They can't seem to find him. And when he does get the ball, honestly, it's just, either luck or sometimes he just forces his own plays. He has to get the ball somehow, really. And that's what is upsetting a lot of people, not just Spurs fans, pretty much basketball fans, saying that we're ruining his career. I wouldn't say that we're ruining his career. I mean, we have Greg Popovich. People are saying he's washed. Really, how can you be washed? Like, if you're not even playing? It's just mentality, and I don't think mentality ever changes, really. Um, so, I don't think it's the coach's problem. I just think it's really, if you look at our roster, like, we're surrounded for the most part with a lot of bench players. We even have some that are starting. So that's just how bad it is. Now, Trae Young, he's our best point guard right now. I believe he was drafted like 43rd or something in the second round, and he's pretty solid for us. He's not somebody that's like amazing in the second round, like Jalen Brunson, for example, but he's not the worst. We don't have a very terrible point guard. He's okay. But everybody else, I mean, oh my gosh, like Devin Vassell, I love him. Devin Vassell's great, but honestly, he just needs to work on his confidence. When he's having his off days, he doesn't want to shoot the ball anymore. I get that. But if you have a good look, honestly, just take it, right? Maybe you'll hit something. He's our best shooting guard. I mean, he's one of the best shooting guards in the league. Keldon Johnson's also pretty good. He's a very decent small forward. But that's pretty much all that we have with the Spurs team. Now, Trae Young, obviously, he's going to help with that, right? With offense and everything. He's a great facilitator, so he's going to get Wemby the ball. And everybody else, too, like Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson. But we are last in pretty much everything. Defense. Trae Young's not going to help with that. He's terrible at defense, probably the worst in the league in defense. He averages a lot of turnovers, so do we as a team. So there's just a lot of aspects that, he's going to bring him down a little bit. He's also going to bring some things up, really. But because he's so talented overall, he's going to cost a lot. He has a very costly contract, and we're going to have to give up a lot of first-round picks, probably like 3 or 4. And then some players like Keldon Johnson and maybe somebody in like Doug McDermott. I don't know. But yeah, it's going to cost a lot to get him. So if I were the GM for the Spurs and Trae Young was asking to be traded to my team, honestly, I would just say no. And I know a lot of you guys are probably thinking that's crazy and everything, but look, we have to think about this long term. Look what happened to Brooklyn. not too long ago. They had Kevin Durant, they had James Harden, Kyrie Irving. It just did not work out. Look at the Lakers a couple years ago. LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Carmelo Anthony. He was very solid there, even though he was old. They had Dwight Howard, Russell Westbrook. They went nowhere. I mean, how do you manage to go nowhere with that team, even though they're old? And somehow you manage to go somewhere with the 2016 Cavs. Now I get it. Like, maybe they're a little bit younger. I mean, of course they're younger with the Cavs, but I think you have a little bit more depth with the 2020 Lakers, I believe. Right? I think that's what the year was. Maybe it's 2019. I don't know. Somewhere around there. I mean, even if you look at the older Spurs, 2014, like, bro, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't always work out. So there's a lot of risk when it comes to trying to get somebody like Trae Young, especially right now. Like, if you play like a right now move, it's very risky. And that's why I would say no to Trae Young. So now, if we play this smart, Trae Young, if you look at his contract, now we'll show you guys. He does have a... Hold up. So we're going to look at his contract right here. So he signed it in 2022. It's 24 right now. So he has 2 more seasons, 2.5 really, to play before he can have a early termination option. So he can declare free agency in 2026. By the end of the 25-26 season, he could declare free agency, and we could just pick him up like that. We won't have to risk anything. We'll just have to give him the contract of $48 million right there. And really, we can afford that. But what I think we cannot afford is throwing all these first round picks to Atlanta again. And then we have to give this guy this money. And then we have to lose some players as well. Like, okay, like if we lose Keldon Johnson, this contract might not look that bad, right? But we don't have enough help for Victor. And we only got Trae Young and freaking Devin Vassell. That's not going to help that much. But if you have a very good point guard, a very dominant center like Victor Wembanyama at an early age as a rookie, a very solid shooting guard, one of the best actually in the league, and then you have Keldon Johnson as well, you're going to do a lot more with that, to be honest. And then you can also have the opportunity to score multiple first rounds in this year's draft, 24. You can do something like that with 24, 25. And also the 25-26 right there. Because if they use Trae Young, Atlanta, if they lose him, I believe we do have their first round picks. So let's look at the first round picks right now. Spurs future draft picks. Now I'm going to go to the Reddit one if I could find it. It's this one. So there might be a little bit changes. But this is what we got right now. So we have our own first rounder here. We have Toronto, which I do believe we're going to get. It's probably going to be like the 8th or something like that. We're not going to use Charlotte. They're not going anywhere. And we do have a second. So Spurs, I'm expecting them to do better 2025 because we are probably going to end up getting in 2024 Nikola Topic, who's also a great point guard, a great facilitator. At 6'6", he's a Serbian point guard. So if your name is Nikola, you're probably going to do good. So we could use Nikola Topic as a great backup point guard, maybe starting. I don't know. And maybe we could get somebody else like a good shooter, like maybe even Jacoby Walter if we can get that with the Toronto pick. Now 2025, we're not going to do that great, but we are going to be doing better. So maybe we'll get like a late first round pick, not late first round, but a late lottery pick, pretty much, or maybe mid. We might even get 15. I don't know. Maybe we make playoffs. We're going to get a good pick. That's all I know for sure. And Atlanta, if they can't figure anything out, we're probably going to get another lottery pick. And maybe if Charlotte, they score with their own pick in this draft, 2024, they get another good talent. Maybe they make playoffs and we get this pick over here, unless we trade it or something. And then we might as well just use Chicago as well, because this year is probably going to be the worst they're ever going to be. 2026, they're probably going to be a lot better. I mean, just look at how Kobe White is doing. So we're looking at potentially 4 first-round picks now. And then we got these freaking other second round picks. This one right here, and then these 3 other picks. So we're looking at a lot of stuff. We're gonna have to be making a lot of trades. Really, I'd work on getting rid of probably, if I had to get rid of one first round, probably the Charlotte one, and then probably a lot of these second round picks too, because it's gonna be hard that you score somebody on that one. And then 2026, let's say Trae Young wants to get out already. So we could use a freaking Atlanta lottery pick. By then, I'm expecting that we will be probably playoff contenders or maybe even higher than that. Especially if we get Trae Young. Maybe even championship contenders. And it also depends on how we score in the lottery for these years and who other stars that we attract to this team as well. 2027, we should be pretty good by then. We might use this pick, we might give it up, but we're probably going to be using the Atlanta one because it's probably going to be another lottery. They might be entering rebuilding stage at this point. So we're looking very set, I think, in my opinion. Now, when it comes to DeJounte Murray, I will give you guys my opinion later on, but that's just what I would do. Trae Young, he enters early termination option, comes to San Antonio. We don't really give up any assets for him. Obviously, we just give him money, right? But that's pretty much just it. Just wait, be patient. This is what I would do if I were the Spurs. Trae Young, I mean, if he really wants to leave Atlanta, he's not making him happy. He wants to come to San Antonio, that's great. I think Victor Wembanyama will make him happy. By then, we should have other talent to make everybody else happy as well, to want to re-sign with the team and to continue going for the ring or whatever it is that they're trying to get to, right? If they think they could get there, go for the ring. If not, try to make playoffs, see what they can do. Just experiment, right? But this is what I would do. So anyways, tell me what you guys think of this idea. If you think that I'm playing it smart long term. If you have any other ideas, like they should trade for him right now, get DeJounte Murray, which I think it's kind of the same idea with Trae Young, but you'd rather get Trae Young, to be honest. If you have to pick between those two guys, Trae Young and DeJounte, just get Trae Young, man, to be honest. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any ideas, comments, or whatever, concerns, let me know down below.